If you are building with AI right now, there is a very important question hiding underneath all the hype. Do you pay premium money for the strongest model you can get, or do you use a much cheaper model that gets surprisingly close on real work? Today, I want to break down Minimax M2.7 versus Claude Opus 4.6 in a way that actually matters for developers, founders, and AI agent builders. Because this is not just a benchmark story, this is really a workflow story, a budget story, and a productivity story. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly where Opus 4.6 wins, where M2.7 wins, and which one makes more sense depending on the kind of work you're doing. The short answer is simple. Claude Opus 4.6 looks like the stronger premium model, while Minimax M2.7 looks like one of the most aggressive value plays. Anthropic describes Opus 4.6 as its latest and most intelligent model for complex coding, enterprise agents, and professional work. Minimax presents M2.7 as a strong engineering model with much lower token pricing and fast inference options. So, this is not a battle between bad and good. It is a battle between top-end capability and cost-efficient capability. Let's start with Claude Opus 4.6. On paper, it is clearly designed to be the high-end choice. Anthropic's documentation lists a 1 million token context window, up to 128,000 output tokens, and adaptive thinking. Anthropic says Opus 4.6 is especially strong for complex agentic work, long-horizon reasoning, and professional workloads. In its release materials, Anthropic claims Opus 4.6 is industry-leading across agentic coding, deep search, reasoning, and finance. That makes Opus 4.6 the kind of model you reach for when the task is genuinely difficult and the cost of mistakes is high. Now look at Minimax M2.7. The story here is different. Minimax gives it a context window of 204,800 tokens, with around 100 tokens per second for the high-speed version. The pricing is dramatically lower than Opus 4.6, 30 cents per million input tokens and $1.20 for output. That is not just a little cheaper, that is radically cheaper. Minimax also claims strong performance on engineering-centered evaluations, including SWE-Pro, Vibe-Pro, and Terminal Bench 2. So immediately you can see the pitch. This is a model meant to feel powerful enough for real coding work, but inexpensive enough to run a lot. And that price difference changes everything. Cost starts becoming a strategic variable, not just a billing detail. Claude Opus 4.6 is priced at $5 per million input tokens. Minimax M2.7 is listed at $0.3. That is a massive gap. So, if you are building agents that loop, retry, and call tools repeatedly, cost becomes a strategic variable for your total productivity. In those situations, a much cheaper model can sometimes create more total productivity simply because you can afford to run it constantly. But cost is only half of the story. The reason people still pay for Opus is because they are usually buying confidence. Anthropic's material emphasizes that Opus 4.6 performs better over long sessions and handles information with less drift. The company highlights stronger performance on long context retrieval, deep reasoning, and agentic workflows. Opus 4.6 is built for the kinds of tasks where losing the thread halfway through is expensive. If you are navigating a large codebase or coordinating many moving parts, the premium starts to make sense. That long context advantage is huge. Anthropic says Opus 4.6 supports a 1 million token context window, while Minimax lists M2.7 at 204,800. That is not small, but 1 million is a different class. It means Opus 4.6 is much better suited for giant repos, dense legal or research corpora, and long planning sessions. There is also a subtle difference in reasoning. Anthropic recommends adaptive thinking for Opus 4.6. This lets the model decide how much to think, with an effort parameter that controls the depth of reasoning. It tells you something about the model's personality. Opus 4.6 is optimized to be more deliberate. M2.7, by contrast, is marketed around fast engineering performance and compatibility with a lot of coding tools. So which one is better for coding? The honest answer is this. If you want the most capable premium option, Opus 4.6 is the safer bet. Anthropic says it is their strongest model for coding, and their release material frames it as industry-leading. But if you want coding quality that is still strong while spending far less, M2.7 becomes very attractive. So the better model depends on whether your bottleneck is correctness at the edge or cost per cycle. This is where I think developers often make a mistake. They ask, which model is smartest, instead of which creates the most value. The better question is, Which model creates the most value inside my actual workflow? If you are pushing one-shot quality as high as possible, use Opus. But for hundreds of iterations, M2.7 produces a better business result. That is because the cheapest useful model often wins in production more often than the smartest expensive one. Another thing worth noting is that Minimax is leaning heavily into coding tool compatibility. Its docs specifically describe using M2.7 with Claude Code, Klein, RuCode, and other popular toolchains. It means Minimax is trying to position M2.7 inside the existing developer agent ecosystem to reduce friction for builders. At the same time, Anthropic's messaging is centered on enterprise-grade work, deeper reasoning, and high-stakes outputs. The docs show Opus 4.6 is the latest generation model in their lineup. It tells you where the frontier has moved. Now let's talk about benchmark interpretation. Because the evaluation sets are not all identical, you should be careful. If somebody tells you one model definitively crushes the other on every task, they are oversimplifying the evidence. Claude Opus 4.6 is the model you hire when you want a senior specialist. You pay for judgment and long-range coherence. Minimax M2.7 is the capable engineer who works fast and can handle a lot of volume without crushing your budget. That analogy maps pretty well to the published specs and pricing from both companies. Neither choice is wrong. So what do I recommend? If you are a founder or indie hacker, start with Minimax M2.7 for your initial iteration. Use it for prototyping, repeated tool loops, and early development where you need a lot of runs. Then bring in Claude Opus 4.6 when the task becomes critical, architecture review, or high-stakes refactors. That hybrid strategy gives you both leverage and quality, matching the strengths that the official docs highlight. If you choose only one, it depends on your tolerance for trade-offs. One is the premium brain, the other is the efficiency monster. So the final verdict is this: Minimax M2.7 is not better than Claude Opus 4.6 in the broadest sense. Opus 4.6 is the stronger frontier model overall based on its current official positioning and context window. But M2.7 absolutely can be the better choice for many real users because its cost is dramatically lower. And that is the real lesson. The best model is the one that gives you the best result for your workflow, your budget, and your risk tolerance. The future is going to belong to the teams who know when to spend for quality and when to optimize for efficiency. And between Minimax M2.7 and Claude Opus 4.6, that playbook is already starting to become very clear.